What is panel lining? Basically, I learned this from when I was a Gundam collector. One of the things about building your Gundam kit is that you would panel line them. And in the little store that I would buy, that I would go buy stuff on Canal, and I think it's Elizabeth and Canal in Manhattan. They would have these. They would have Gundam markers, but they would also have these. These are panel lining markers. GMO 200. This is a black panel lining marker for Gundam. And here's the tip. So, these things are very cool, these Gundam markers. But sometimes the store wouldn't have them. You have to put this fine tip into the grooves in your model kit or your action figure. And after a while, the little tip over here, it'll break. And that's a big shame because you'll still have a lot of ink in here, but the tip of your pen is borked. It's broken. So I would run down to Canal and 18th Street, and I'd be like, I need a new Gundam marker. And sometimes they wouldn't have them, and I'd be disappointed. So what I learned from DeLong.net is that you can use, I think he uses these. That's probably how I found out about them. You can use a Pigma Micron 005, which is the same as the measurement that DeLong mentioned is that the point has to be 0.20 mm's, millimeters. But I couldn't find any, and I went to Michael's, and I was pointed in the direction of this. I believe I don't know if it was DeLong or if it was an employee of Michael's that mentioned it, but this this pen has the same little point, as you can see, as the Gundam marker had. So I stopped buying Gundam markers and I started buying these. You can order these online from Amazon or from Michael's. A pack of like three is like $20, but one of them is like $3. The Gundam markers would always be like $5 each. So this is a better option. It's archival ink. This particular pen is 005, but as you can tell by the reflection, this is blue. I haven't used this yet on any of my kits or action figures, but instead of being black, this is blue. This one is black, as you can see. I labeled this one face and head. The tip should still be good. No, I don't think it is. So the tip is still in good shape. But I have been exploring other options. From Michael's, I found this when I wasn't able to find any of the Pigma microns. This is 0.05. So as you can see, here's the point. And it's small, SMOL, just like the Gundam marker and the micron, the Pigma micron. I have a whole bunch of these in case some of them die. It's always a shame when their points die. If anyone has any tips on how to not destroy the tips of your Gundam panel lining markers or your markers, let me know. because it's the saddest thing in the world when the tip breaks, and I know that there's a whole bunch of ink in here that's going to waste when I chuck it because I can't use it. Basically, what happens to the tip, it'll it'll become like a brush. It'll flake out. If you're interested in Panda lining, you can find these on Amazon. If not, Michael's. Not the Gundam marker. Gundam markers have been showing up at Barnes and Noble, so maybe you might be able to get the Panda lining Gundam marker from them. But if anything, you could always go to Michael's. I took apart Kingdom Magnus, and here's his torso, which is waiting to be Panda lined and painted. Basically, the inspiration behind getting this guy was they're gonna release this mold painted like Optimus Prime with a base. And I was looking at the Optimus Prime and I was like, I'd like to paint like these bars silver, maybe line him a bit, put some yellow highlights on the lights, and maybe paint the little arrows on his arms. So I decided, let me get this last Kingdom Magnus cheap and start customizing him. With this guy, I wanted to just use the just paint without panelining him. But when I was looking at my Titans Return Triptychon, I noticed how much better the panelining made him look. And here's the Magnus flap. I can't deal with that now. I know. And here's his Magnus gun. The gun I'm not going to panaline. I'm just going to paint it gold and silver. Paint some parts gold, some parts silver. But I don't think I'm going to panaline a lot of it. Alright, there are different sizes in the micron pens. I wanted to show you guys one. I did get a 08 and a 02. The higher the number, the thicker their tips get. So as you can see, this number 8, the tip is flaking like I was mentioning with the 0.5s. But usually I use this to fill the big crevices instead of like rolling around, like taking the skinny tip and covering parts. I use this one to cover more ground, like that, as you can see. So afraid was I of their tips deteriorating that I did label each of these panel lining markers for a Titan. Like this one belongs to Triptychon. This one belongs to Fort Max. As mentioned before, I use this one for the face and the head in order to always have a nice point. And then this one is Inside Grooves.
Please consider engaging with this video.
AKA like, comment, subscribe.
Over the weekend, I started panelining. I decided to paneline half of Magnus and leave the other half unpanelined in order to do a video and show the differences between panelining and not panelining. We have, thanks to Lazy Eyebrow, he inspired me to take off this butt bumper from Magnus, so it's easier to customize. With figures in the past, most of them had ball joints and I would take them apart. But now after Siege, they use less ball joints and they're tougher to take apart now. But I did paneline this part. I'm gonna put some silver and some gold on this, but for now it's just paneline, baby. I panelined the back too. So let's go small. Here's the Magnus Missile. Panda lining brings out the details. That's one of the things I love about Transformers. You don't have to build them, but they're detailed like Gundams. They have all these robot lines all over them, and you can panel line them without the hassle of building them. Because I know every Gundam fan out there has a stack of unbuilt kits. I have a stack of unbuilt kits from Gundam 00. That series is almost 10 years old. So here's the Magnus Missile. If you notice here, this is kind of smudged. If you make a mistake, you can use an eraser or just use your finger and you can smudge away the extra ink, and the rest of the ink will stay in the panel, but you'll get rid of any mistakes that you do. So that's good. I do have erasers, but I usually don't keep them handy. Here's Magnus's shoulder pylons. And here's the array of detail that you can see. My camera is like, no, I don't want to focus. So here's the array of detail. And I did panel line the blue. I panel lined the blue. But even though it's not really that noticeable, it does stand out a bit. You see, because like this is really dark. The only thing I don't panel line is black, because that's definitely everything's gonna get lost there. But I panel line the blue, and you can tell that's panel lined. So I panel lined the front of the leg, and also the side. As I was saying with the blue, you still have to panel line it so that the details come out. Let's see. What I'm probably not gonna panel line is the inside. It's tougher to panel line unless it's something that shows. I don't think I'm gonna panel line the inside of any of the robots. Here we have the robot leg. This is the Optimus Legs. In the new Optimus Prime, the top of his legs are painted silver. And he does have like silver down here. I'm gonna experiment with this, and I'm probably gonna use silver in here, just like the Optimus. I mean, silver will stand out against the white, but I can also go with yellow. I mean with gold. Here's the tires. Here's the back of the legs, and I even did the knees. The arm bracers. I usually panel line the robot mode, and after I'm done with the robot mode, I'll panel line the vehicle mode. And finally, we got the arms. Someone on Facebook was mentioning that they don't like someone had did something like this and it was too dark. I think my panel lining is just right, but it might be too dark. I think there's a better way. If you're a painter, you could just do a wash. Someone's once said shoe polish on it, like just covering the thing in shoe polish, the thing that you want to panel line, and then cleaning it, and the shoe polish stays in the cracks. But I've never tried that mode before. So I guess that's it. Um, Let me know how you guys, if you're customizers, how you guys do panel lining. I would love to find a quicker way than just panel lining each panel, but one that doesn't involve destroying the toy. Like, I'd love to give a wash to my arc. I'm going to customize it, but going over all the panels in it, it's going to take some time. Even with Triptychon and Fort Max, I took like a few days. I would like panel line the legs of Triptychon and then his mid body. I'm Aries 83 and, well, bye.